Hey, welcome back, guys. Power Book 2's final two episodes of Season 3 were arguably their greatest presentations to date. Though spilled early in the form of leaks, it was nevertheless a non-stop thrill ride that brought forth some major character development as the stakes rose up like never before. Due to some unforeseen circumstances and hindrances, I definitely dropped the ball on offering my thoughts on these explosive episodes, but I'm back to make amends for the lapse going into this final Power season. So here, we'll break down both episodes in typical top 10, well for this video, more like 20 WTF fashion. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my channel donors. If you'd like to be the next one, drop $1 on that Cash App for us. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things Power. Here we go. WTF moment number 20. Face Off. Kane and Tariq surprisingly meet up at Davis's office simultaneously. Kane searching for counsel for Effie, and Tariq searching for clues in Sax's office regarding Tasha's whereabouts. Upon crossing paths, Kane blames Tariq for Effie's arrest, and Rick blames Kane for their current RICO investigation status. The verbal bars quickly turn physical as the long-awaited battle royale between them kicks off with Tariq surprisingly throwing the first swing, only to be overtaken by Kane's might and street brawl posture. Rick is then saved by a rattled Davis, who stops Kane from seriously harming his most consistent client. WTF moment number 19, Kane Toretto. Fresh off Tariq's ass, Kane turns his ire towards Brady. He runs down Tariq's unassuming partner with his car, intentionally slamming his car door into his gut and accusing him of being a part of Effie's downfall. Braden emphatically denies that jacket, rightfully placing the blame where it belongs. Kane reveals Lauren's survival during the ordeal as well, and leaves Braden hospital-bound afterwards. WTF moment number 18, Obi Donist. Tariq visits Obi, who's in the midst of a gruesome torture regimen by way of the mouth. While viciously discarding the teeth of an unnamed victim, Tariq pleads with him for more time to meet Noma's quota, offering him a chance to reunite with his family in exchange for the gesture. A wary Obi capitulates, giving Tariq 72 hours to complete the task and deliver on green cards for his flock. WTF moment number 17, the jig is up. Weston Holdings is fully raided and shut down by the feds in the wake of their Ponzi scheme operation becoming public knowledge. This is due in part to Tate's influence and fully blindsides every Weston not named Brayton or Lucas, the latter ensuring his absence once the legal hammer came crashing down. Brayden confirms the reality of the situation to his father, leaving the future of the firm indefinitely undecided. Then, Brayden's father is subsequently brought in for questioning by the feds, leaving his son with a piece of wisdom that would factor into his own life-changing and violent decision to come. WTF moment number 16, Castillo's to the slaughter. Evelyn pays Monet a visit at her bar and threatens the Tejada matriarch for her potential involvement in Gordo's disappearance. Understanding the severity of the situation and its inevitable outcome, Drew and Kane pay the Castillos a visit and gas them to death at their place of business, completely unbeknownst to them. Then, Drew and Evelyn have a surprising exchange during her final breaths, where he apologizes for Gordo's fate, and she shockingly reveals that it was Monet who wanted Lorenzo dead, something that she suspected due to her lack of sympathy in matters concerning her late husband. Emotional and enraged, Drew suffocates Evelyn to death, keeping their final exchange to himself. WTF moment number 15, the family that betrays. Monet is angrily confronted by her Tejada children in the aftermath of them piecing together her role in their father's demise. Monet furiously rebukes their claims, while further smearing Lorenzo's name in justification of her treachery towards him. This nearly results in a physical altercation between Diana and her mother, and officially splinters the Tejada family, irrevocably so. WTF moment number 14, Lucas Weston falling down. Tariq shows up to cancel Christmas on Lucas Weston. However, Braden is already there and appeals to his uncle's humanity in order to save his life. Braden is taken aback by his uncle's callous nature and unrepentant stance regarding his crimes. Finally understanding that there's no saving his once favorite family member, Braden commits the unthinkable by throwing Lucas off the roof of his building, immediately killing him upon impact into a parked car. This was one of the wildest moments of the penultimate episode, and a character-defining one for Braden, who previously didn't have the stomach to complete such a heinous act, as seen formerly with his shortcomings against Lauren and the Russian. WTF moment number 13, 2-Bit for your thoughts. Two-Bit's long-awaited return is finally realized when he catches up with Tariq, threatening his safety and that of his family. The latter was exposed by Saxe in the wake of his death, to which he warned that such information would be unleashed if he were to expire unexpectedly. Two-Bit spares Tasha's life and Tariq's in exchange for his brand new ride, a high price for someone who's been footing it since the debut season. WTF moment number 12, Revenge of the Chancellor. Following Tariq's request for more protection for Tasha, he quickly makes his way to his hidden family's whereabouts, but his worst fears are realized when the last person he expects to see makes his presence vigorously felt. Thomas Patrick Egan, the Chancellor in the flesh. Tommy pulls up in his now signature blue Mustang and murders all security on his way to complete his revenge against Tasha. Once inside, he reveals himself to the woman he once regarded as family and exposes that Monet is behind her residence being leaked. Right before he can extinguish her light, Tariq pops out in defense of his mother and maintains a Mexican-style standoff with his extended uncle. The standoff is then interrupted by a surviving security guard, who Tommy quickly disposes of before Tariq is knocked out cold, who we later learn was Tasha. WTF moment number 11, missing. Tariq awakens in the hospital following being knocked out cold by his mother. Tamika informs him that all the guards were found dead, and his mother's current status is MIA. This leaves Tariq in a state of emotional turmoil as episode 9 concludes on a very well-placed cliffhanger. WTF moment number 10, Monet's New Order. With no family, allies, or networks to fall back on, but all the territory to move product, Monet calls for a meeting with Noma in order to secure product and regain control over her estranged flock. Noma holds her feet to the fire regarding the truth behind Mecca's death, and the two reach an understanding of sorts during the tense exchange. Most shockingly, Noma leaves Monet with a visceral reminder via Obi, slicing his face buck 50 style as an example of what occurs to those who cross her. Monet then quickly runs down the new rules for her apprehensive family network, much to their chagrin. WTF moment number 9, a not-so-happy reunion. Fresh out of the hospital, Tariq makes a surprise visit to none other than Kate Egan, an OG Power fan favorite and his extended aunt. He furiously demands Tommy's whereabouts, but she feigns ignorance. However, she also clues him into a critical piece of information. Monet dropped her a letter, which served as a bridge to his mother's near demise at Tommy's hands. We would later discover that the true deliverer of that letter had much more insidious plans for the Junior St. Patrick. WTF moment number 8, two worlds collide. After being threatened by his new boss Monet, Tariq chases her down with violent intentions, only to be interrupted by his primary target, Tommy. His dear old uncle fills in the gaps on the truth of their last showdown, revealing that he and Tasha made amends prior to fleeing the scene. Tommy then gives his misguided extended nephew some much-needed advice, urging him to disavow his current dichotomy of gangster and gentleman and to do what Ghost never could, choose a side. Tommy's final gift to his nephew, in addition to the wisdom, was the independence to fight his own battles, refusing to engage in another New York feud. This was a powerful scene in general and a major character builder for Tariq, as this new war he finds himself in will define him in the final season to come. WTF moment number 7, the down payment. Monet and Kane crash the Weston family residence in search of compensation for their losses taken in the Ponzi scheme fallout. Braden's objections are summarily ignored in the midst of the devious twosome's robbery of the family's artwork and other heirlooms. Monet then declares that the valuables are merely a down payment for their lost fortune and promises more demands to come. WTF moment number 6, inmate incoming. With her confidence fleeting in her eldest and most reliable soldier, Monet orchestrates an inside plot to kill Effie and stop her from potentially jeopardizing the freedom of her family. The assassin enters Effie's cell and attempts to shank her to death. However, the attack is prevented by the prison guards, sparing her life prior to Tariq's proposition to her, information in exchange for her freedom. WTF moment number 5, look mom, say cheese. Tariq maintains his unauthorized contact with Lauren and convinces her to meet up in order to dissuade her testimony, freeing Effie, himself, and the others from imminent prosecution in 5 days. Tariq's initial persuasion plot is to gather photos of Lauren's family to amplify her decision. However, Kane's crazy ass makes other provisions and reveals her tied up parents in a live video during their collective park meeting. Kane ensures their safety in exchange for her testimonial recant, securing their futures, but inevitably devastating Tariq's with this form of flame altogether. Interestingly enough, this final estrangement sets up a long-lost love of sorts for Tariq, as Lauren will depart and grow independent of him. Reek, on the other hand, will only grow closer to the underworld in which he chose. once again, following in his father's footsteps in the worst way. WTF moment number 4, grand jury gone wrong. Seeking closure on her season-long journey in abnormality, Lauren meets with Effie for clarity on her next move. Her motive is to confirm that her troubles will cease once she goes through with the recant of her statement, and the spicy interaction's conclusion gives Lauren all the information she requires. Once at the pivotal grand jury hearing, Jenny's legal world and reputation is shattered once again, as Lauren relays to the court that everything that's been said was engineered by an insufferable prosecutor who manipulated her under a state of shock to restore her case against Tariq and co., using her parents as bait to complete her agenda. Jenny's face is priceless during this betrayal, and the plug is officially pulled by Medina, another power OG who makes an appearance this season in a heightened position of authority. WTF moment number 3, the murderous plot. A grief-stricken Diana, finally fed up with her mother's antics and destructive nature, pays Tariq a visit and lays out a plot to finally rid them of Monet for good. She appeals to his interests, observing a major power law by using Monet's perceived attack on Tasha to sway Tariq into participating in the plot. Through narrative imagery, we see Monet finally speaking with Diana in the flesh, with Tariq donning all black, ready to take the kill shot. However, in the midst of Monet's emotional plea for her daughter's forgiveness and understanding, a car pulls up and sprays the Tejada home like it's 1992, hitting the Tejada matriarch several times as she covers her daughter to essentially save her. Much to Tariq's surprise, it was his own mother behind the bullet-filled onslaught, in her own attempt to protect her son and get back at the person who nearly killed her via the Sachs letter exposure to Tommy. WTF moment number 2, the plot thickens. At the hospital, a shaken Diana exposes Tariq as the sole culprit behind Monet's assassination attempt, taking both of her brothers by surprise while simultaneously inspiring revenge in their hearts. Then, in arguably the most shocking twist of any Power season to date, we learn of Diana's true plot via flashback. Her and Drew, in the direct aftermath of their family fallout, decide to extinguish Monet's life permanently. Diana for Lorenzo's execution and Drew for Gordo. Deciding to use Tariq as the patsy to match their revenge, they agree to exchange his life in the plot, understanding that Kane will gleefully demand it. Finally, it's shockingly revealed that it was Diana who exposed Tasha's whereabouts to Tommy using Sachs's letter, thus motivating Tariq's involvement in the evil caper. This series of events were as crazy as they were maniacal, and they would only be expounded upon in the final surprise of the series, one that has changed things forever for our characters, irreparably so. WTF moment number 1, and then there was one. Well, technically 2. Tariq meets with Noma in the climactic scene of this season in hopes of proposing a partnership. She inquires about the truth behind Monet's hit and reveals her differing opinion upon his denials in the form of the Tejada children. Outnumbered and outgunned, Tariq finally plays his trump card, the name of Noma's daughter. However, one last surprise member is revealed in the form of Effie, who once again betrays Tariq for his coveted position in Noma's organization. This maneuver was likely due to her begrudging acceptance of their relationship's end following her cheap clapathon with his open enemy. With Noma having moved her daughter and Tariq under imminent threat of death via Kane's gun, he's saved by his brother-in-arms, Brayden, who slides in guns blazing, hitting Kane and nearly clipping several others before getting them both out of dodge. Brayden then confirms that he was aided by Obi in return for Tariq's green card favor, and the two move towards an uncertain, war-filled future. That will do it for the series finale recap of Power Go Season 3. What were your thoughts on the final 2 episodes? And how do you think they'll affect the premiere of the final Power Go season? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 on that Cash App for us, hit the like button, share it with your friends who are Power fans, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.